Hello everyone, this is a help video for the 1.13 assignment, modify a short story. So we're going to start out by looking at the writing guide. Here is the short story assignment, directions and prompt. The assignment is worth 42 points. Directions: modify an existing narrative. Pick one of the stories that we have read in class, and then choose a story element, plot, setting, character, or point of view, and rewrite that story, changing that story element and showing how that element impacts the events in the narrative. Prompt: write a 1 to 2 page modified version and analyze how your change affects the story's impact. When writing your own version, consider how changing one element creates a ripple effect throughout the entire narrative. Pay attention to maintaining consistency while exploring new possibilities within the story. The writing process. Follow the steps of the writing process to complete the assignment. You will open a new Word document and write there. Step 1. Planning. Choose which story you will use. Select one story element to change. Brainstorm ideas for your story version. Complete the graphic organizer to help outline your thoughts. Step 2. Drafting. Write the first draft of your story version. Remember to save often. Use the ideas in your graphic organizer to help you write. Step 3. Revising. Revise your first draft. Make any changes to meet assignment requirements. Step 4. Proofreading. Proofread and edit your draft. Fix any mistakes in spelling, grammar, capitalization, and punctuation. Step 5. Publishing. Submit your assignment. Copy and paste your finished story or upload your document to the linked assignment. Your teacher will score your assignment using the grading rubric. Step 1. Planning. Choose a story from these options: The Oasis, Africa, from Made in the Trenches by Ernest H. Griffin, or The Interlopers by Saki. Select one story element to change: setting, character, plot, resolution specifically, or point of view. Graphic organizer discussion. Organize your thoughts before starting a draft. Use this to plan your ideas prior to writing. Step 2 is drafting. Write the first draft of your story version. Make sure you understand the assignment directions and prompt. Take the information from your graphic organizer to help you write your first draft. Open a new Word document. This is where you will type your work. Step 3, revising. Revise is the stage or step of the writing process in which the writer locates problems in the text and corrects them. Change, add, remove, or move things in your story. When you revise, you can make changes in planning, organization, long passages, short passages, sentences, word choices, or all of those, as well as anything else you happen to notice needs fixing while you carefully reconsider your draft. Step 4, proofreading and editing. Proofread and edit is the stage or step of the writing process in which the writer checks for and corrects errors in grammar, punctuation, capitalization, and spelling. Fix mechanical mistakes in your story. There are 2 helping videos, one for proofreading and editing, and one to show you how to use the spell check tool in Microsoft Word. There are other helping resources two links for point of view, 3 links for dialogue format, a link for grammar, a link for fragments and run-ons, a link for punctuation, and a link for spelling. Use those helping resources as needed. Step 5, publishing. The short story grading rubric. This is how your story will be scored. After you have revised and edited your work, look at the grading rubric and compare your story to the skills that will be marked to get the highest score possible. Make any changes or fix any mistakes that need to be addressed. Publish. Publish is the stage or step of the writing process in which the writer makes a final clean copy of the piece and shares it. You'll be submitting your story for grading. Now you're ready to submit your work for grading. Copy and paste your finished story or upload your document into the assignment. Inlink it, 2025-26, English 9, Q1, narrative writing, short story. Inlink it. Here is the student-friendly version of the grading rubric. There are 6 criteria: focus and setting, content development, organization, styling and voice, conventions, use of dialogue and description. Each of those is worth 7 points for a total of 42 points for the assignment. There are certain skills for each criteria: focus and setting, consistency, original premise, main idea, point of view, first person or third person, and setting, where and when the story takes place. For content development, characters, who is in the story, plot, resolution, what happens in the story, specifically at the end. Organization, sequencing, beginning, middle, and end. Structure, writing format, paragraphs. Structure, length, 1 to 2 pages. Style and voice, word choice, and narration. The speaker narration is the speaker telling the story. Conventions is grammar, punctuation, spelling, and capitalization. And then use of dialogue and description. Dialogue is the characters talking, and descriptions for the setting, events, and characters. Last, if you would like to share your short story, you can post it into the Padlet Short Story Share 2025, and the link is there. Next, we're going to look at the graphic organizer discussion assignment. And this goes along with our 1.13 modify a short story assignment. Directions: complete the graphic organizer below for the modify a short story assignment. Reply with your answers or upload this document to the graded discussion in the online course. Look at classmates' work to get ideas. You can respond to other students' posts, but it's not required. Grading: it's worth 15 points. Here is the graphic organizer. You'll fill in the story title, the story element that you are changing, the changes that you are making, specifically in your rewrite, and then an explanation and analysis for how it impacts the events of the story. So before completing the organizer, do the following. Choose a story, either the Oasis Africa or the Interlopers, and those reading links are there for the textbook and the read aloud. So in the graphic organizer where it says story title, you will fill in either the Oasis Africa or the interlopers, depending on which one you chose for the 1.13 Modify Short Story assignment. Then select one story element to change: setting, or characters, or point of view, or plot. And in the graphic organizer, you will put whichever story element you are changing. Okay, setting, characters, point of view, or plot. And then whatever specific changes you will be making. And again, then how your changes impacts the events of the story. So for example, setting is when and where the story takes place and how it impacts the events in the story. If the events take place in a different place or time, how does that change the story? For characters, who is doing the action in the story and how it impacts the events in the story? Take some time to envision the character or characters in detail. Rate the traits of each character. If you adjust the main character, show how that adjustment would change the story. If you adjust other characters, how would that affect the plot? If you are changing point of view, which is the perspective of the narrator of the story and how it impacts the events in the story. If the story is written from a first-person perspective, how would it change to a third-person point of view? If the story is written from a third-person perspective, how would it change to a first-person point of view? Or a shift in perspective. If the story is written from a particular character's perspective, how would it change if it was told from a different character's point of view? For plot, you're going to focus on the resolution of the conflict and how it impacts the events in the story. So exposition, complicating incident, rising action, climax, falling action, resolution. How does the character get what they want? How is the character better or worse off in the end? If you change the ending of the story, how does it affect the narrative as a whole? So after you have chosen a story and then selected one of these story elements to change, you will fill in the graphic organizer, story title, story element changes, and how it impacts the events of the story, and you will submit that graded graphic organizer assignment in the online discussion in the English 9 course. So now I want to look at the assignment in Linkit. This is just a PDF version of the assignment in Linkit. So 2025-26 English 9 Q1 narrative writing short story. Okay, that's what it is called in the Linkit program. Okay, in Linkit, it shows the directions, the point value, the step-by-step process. Choose a story, option 1 or option 2. Select one of the following story elements to change in the original text. Setting, characters, point of view, plot. It gives you the graphic organizer. The checklist is here. Your rewritten story should. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then the story elements review, which we just looked at a moment ago. It gives you the prompt and the text box for your submission. You can also upload your Word document and to link it instead of putting it in the text box. I hope this video helps. Please let your teacher know if you have specific questions or need help with the assignment.